What is up, guys? Evergreen Fly Guy. I'm in my basement doing some tying. Not our regular tying, but some jig tying. I'm tying up jigs because we were jig fishing at the Green River, and I'm sure you'll see that video before you see this video. And they were wanting jigs. Everybody was fishing jigs. They were wanting jigs. People were hooking up on jigs. Jacob caught one on something kind of jiggy. That's how he was fishing it in a jig style, but it wasn't exactly a jig. It's kind of a drift thing with some eggs kind of stacked up. Kind of almost imitating something like this. But the pinks sure love it, and I lost a lot of jigs, and I was like, man, there's got to be a better way. So I went down and I looked at the jig head cost compared to the actual jig cost, and it's cheaper for the most part. For somebody just getting into it, it's probably not, because you're going to have to buy all the materials. For somebody who's experienced in fly tying and has the materials, it's easier, and it does come out cheaper in the short run. Or in the long run, sorry. Alright guys, so let's talk about these jigs. So these are all basically pink and white variations of jigs. Pardon my table, I've been tying these jigs and I'll probably be continuing tomorrow as well. So let's just get into it, and I'm going to show you some traditional ones. So 9 times out of 10, this is what you're going to see. A lot of people just jig head, hoochie skirt. 1, because jig heads are cheaper than already done up jigs. And 2, the hoochies work great. Like, this setup will catch fish, so there's no doubt about it. And it's simple to make and it's cheap. Another one you see a lot is this style right here. I just tied this one up, the glue is still drying. This is a pink jig head, obviously, with 2 beads. These are what are they, 6mm beads that I got in a huge pack. Little white marabou on top, pink marabou on the bottom, tied together. Tie it off at the bottom, boom, got a little jig with, it looks like a couple of eggs on it. That style works great. You'll see me tie this one in the video. This is a nice simple display. It's pink feathers as your tail. You got a little pinkish reddish body, little pink dubbing collar, a little crystal flash in the tail. Super simple to make, and it just fishes. Let's talk about this one right here. So this one looks like a standard one, just a big ploofy pink skirt, red collar. But if you look, let me focus this right, I actually have a stinger hook in the back. Now, before I use this, I'll obviously have to check regs to see if stinger hooks are allowed on these types of jigs. But if not, then I can always cut that off, and I still have this big ploofy one left. And this is just something I was just messing around with, decided to change something up. I took inspiration from a Barely Legal for this, and yeah, I think it came out kind of cool. We'll have to see once the marabou dries out, because but it's basically pink, white marabou, pink marabou, that same kind of chenille I was using, that you'll see me using in the video. That's like a reddish pink, I really like that. And then a red collar, and that's it. That's the trend there here on all these, just simple jigs. And you know, you can, if you don't know how to tie flies and you just want to try to save some money, then this is your option. If you want to learn a little bit, this is super simple. 2 beads, 2 pieces of marabou, and some string. This one's also, it's a little bit harder, but it's also pretty simple. 2 feathers, some flash, some chenille, dubbing, jig, and string. But yeah, guys, let's just get into how we tie this guy right here. Well, now it seems like a good time to tell you guys to like, subscribe, hit that alert bell, get out there. Didn't want to interrupt the video too much, but just trying to make a point about it, because oftentimes I kind of forget in the video. So this is that point. If you want to, it's right down there, so right across the screen, whatever you'd like to do. Okay guys, I'm going to do a super simple one for you to show you just how to tie them. You can go all crazy with it. I'm just going to give you a super simple one that works, and it's just easy. So my camera doesn't die on me. If it does, I guess we'll be messing with it tomorrow. I have a little pink jig head here. I'm obviously going to pair that up with a little pink thread. Now, I was kind of into baits, but I think I know which the simplest one that we could do. And that that is basically just going to be a little bit of a thread and some feathers. So how I'm going to do that, let's see, do I want to use these feathers or something more perky? I think we'll use something more perky. We'll use these. So I'm just going to pull two of these big, what are these, strung rooster saddles out of here. We have our jig there. Let's go ahead and take a little thread and layer down here. Oh, loosen this up a little bit. Way too tight there. There we go. That's better. Jeez. This is my first time back in the vise for a little bit, but it came after some inspiration. As I explained, I've lost a lot of jigs out there, so we're kind of trying to change it up. Now I'm going to take this feather and I'm basically just going to pluck it till I got the little wispy fibers away, so I just have this big section left. And I'm not gonna make it too long. We're gonna probably go about right in here. I'm gonna take it in from the side. Just kind of cinch that down and wrap up on it. At this point, if you can pull it off, pull it off. If you can't, just cut it off like that. I have one on one side here. I'm gonna make sure that's tied down real good. I like to keep everything tight. Go about right there, just to the point of the hook. Now I'm going to flip this, and I'm going to do the same to the other side. Let's take my feather, I'm going to prune away all the extra. I'm going to try to measure, make sure they're about the same distance there. Same ordeal that we did with the previous one. Get a good cinch down, and I'm going to tie it in up to the ball. Cut this, there we go. Tighten up right through here. Move that one down here. I don't like that it's kind of sticking out. But luckily at this point we can move them how we want without it being affected any. Alright, and we pretty much have our body here. At this point, I'm going to take a little bit of chenille, and I have a few options in chenille. I have a soft pink that would pair with this pretty well. It's a nice little soft pink. I have a flashy cactus pink like that, and I have this that I found. It is a pearl red flake hairline, and it just looks cool, so I want to do it. And I could have done this a better way. Wow, this is super tight or bunchy in here. I could have done this, I could have started with this piece like already tied in back here and just looped it in. How we're about to start it, you can, I mean, it's not really a big deal. Now I'm also going to add in a little bit of flash. This can be up to you, and you can do like a pearl flash. You could do some of these pink crystal fibers if you're trying to go all pink. You could throw in a little red in there to give it a little like a heat spot, or just a little change up in the pink on pink. I'm just gonna do 2 strands of this pearl. Try not to pull it out too much because it's so thin that it bunches easy. And I'll try to get it even out here. Almost even. There we go. That should be even after that. Space it out evenly on here. Even is the common trend. Ugh. Sometimes this can be a pain in the butt to tie in. Just depends on how you like to do it. I always pull 2 to one side and try to crank down to offset it. Pull it all to one side. There we go. I can come back through, and if this is too long I can trim it later. Now while I'm down here, I'm going to go ahead and tie in this chenille just right up here on the body, right behind where we did those feathers. I'm going to park my thread right here and then out of the way. That's my favorite part in any fly that has chenille, is wrapping the chenille on. Now depending on how thick you want this, so say I wanted it real thick, I could come up here and crank down 2-3 times in one spot and stack it up high. And I've left myself a good length of chenille to do that. I like to take 5 to 6 inches at a time if I'm like doing a new fly like this and I don't know the exact amount I'm going to use. Now that looks good, so now I'm going to take my thread and I'm going to cut that off. And now I can snip off the extra. That looks pretty good right now. That looks pretty fishy, right? Well, at this time, if I wanted to add more contrast, I could do a white collar around here, or I could continue with the pink, and I actually think I have a little bit of Senio's pink laser right here. I also have some nice white crystal-y stuff. You could even do a purple collar on that. That would look good too. I think just for the sake of materials, we're just going to stick with that pink. And we're going to give it a nice pink collar. So how I do that is I take a little clump out, I put it on my line here, and I just twist it on. I'm trying to be pretty in-depth about this because I know a lot of people out there might be interested in making their own jigs because they're losing a lot of them, like me, and they just kind of want to learn how to save some money and might not be experienced fly tyers. So I'm trying to, play to the people that are new to it. I wouldn't even call myself an advanced fly tyer. Intermediate maybe. And there, I just did that nice collar. Now what I'm going to do is take this whip finish tool, put it on my string, press up. We're going to anchor that off. I like to do about 3 wraps on most things. 3 to 4 wraps. Cinch it down. Cut my string off. Nice. I'm going to take my loon head cement here. Get all this excess off. It's the one thing I can say I don't like about the little thing here. It holds so much of this stuff on it. And I just go around the edge. I know you can't see it there. I'm going to try to show you here. Just around the edge where the dubbing and jig head meet. If you got a rotating vise like this is simple. Go around a few times. There we go. And that is a simple salmon jig, salmon steelhead jig. I'm doing pink ones specifically for some pink salmon. But there you go. You got the feather tail, flash in the tail, which you can trim down if you think that's a little long. I think it's actually fine. And a nice little collar. I think that one came out very nice. And there's many variations of this. I have a whole table here full of different stuff, and to make some of the other ones I showed you guys. So thanks for watching. I also wanted to take a second and apologize for my previous 3 to 4 videos. Not that they were bad, which they might have been if you think they're bad, they might be. I was having some sound issues with the music being a little bit too loud because I was editing everything on my computer and just listening to the computer speakers, and they weren't being too good about where the music was actually at through the clips. So yeah, I'm gonna edit with headphones on from now on, and hopefully that'll resolve that issue. But yeah, hope you guys enjoy the video.